For today's session, I started from, you had the opportunity to talk with my colleague Laura in the previous session. And so we continue this journey in Lasallian Ministries around the world. And, I hope uh, to introduce you to new places and new stories that will inspire you for the following sessions and your project. So just to recap, in the previous session, you saw that we are, as the Lasallian family, we are in 80 countries in the world with more than 1,000 educational centers. There are more than 1 million students like you all around. And we also saw that, over half of these million students live in a condition of vulnerability in their life. So to continue the journey, I decided to start from the same kind of areas of intervention that you saw the other time, but presenting you new schools. And to start the journey, we go to Cambodia. In Cambodia, in a rural area that is just a few minutes really driving, like 30 minutes driving from Phnom Penh, that is the capital of Cambodia. There is this village called Pothum. And in this village, actually, this is the home for Vietnamese families that arrived in Cambodia as a consequence of the war in the 70s in their country, in Vietnam. And the big problem with this population is that coming from Vietnam during the war, they lost their Vietnamese citizenship, but at the same time, they also never got the Cambodian one. So they are undocumented. This means that for students and for the families to really live in a very particular environment. So the photos you see, I took them a few weeks ago when I went there visiting. And as you see, all their houses are built on the water. This is because for the Cambodian law, water is a no man land, so no property. And this means that even if they don't have any document, they can build their houses, we can say there. And you can imagine that living in a condition like this is the river you see is the Mekong River, means of course being constantly at risk, because during the monsoon moment of the year, with the rains, the heavy rains, the river rises. And this means of course that most of the time their houses goes down the water. But it's very interesting to see how these people live, because at the bottom of the houses, it becomes like their playground for the kids, or their living rooms, like this photo you can see on the side. This means also that for these kids to grow up in a normal environment is very difficult to achieve. And of course, having no documents is very difficult for them to go to school. For this reason, the Lasallian brothers opened a school in this village, just 5 kilometers from, these places these places you're seeing in the photos, where these kids, 80 kids exactly, this year, thanks to a scholarship program, can actually attend school, go to class. And also, as part of their program, they receive a meal every day, at least a meal, because of course their families are quite poor. Most of them work in the fishing area, or they sell goods on the streets. And also they receive their uniform as part of the program. So this is one of the first, let's say, step in our journey today. It was for me an honor to go and visit this place. It's a beautiful, beautiful environment, and you can really see the difference this can make in the life of the kids and the impact that the brothers are having on their life. They also, the brothers, as a side activity, try to support this family in obtaining documents in order to, change their life. The other time you also talked about, as part of access to education, the rights of minorities. In the world, there are many minorities in every country sometimes. And if we go to Sri Lanka, we have another school in Mannar who really takes care of minorities. Specifically, we're thinking of the Tamil descendant population that in Sri Lanka, there's been a civil war that ended in 2009, and so the Tamil Tigers losing the war. And for this reason, the Tamil population has been marginalized for a long time. And most of these families ended up being living in very poor condition. Most of them lives in remote villages in the country and live out of fishing, or they are agricultural, like in the agricultural area. And in this school in Mannar, the San Xavier school, it's a very special school. I am going to share video, but it's in Italian, so I'm going to talk upon that. This is just to show you. I wanted to show you some photos and the environment. So this school is interesting because, first of all, they work a lot to integrate the Tamil population with the Sinhalese speaker. There is a big problem with language because most of the Tamil descendants only talk Tamil, so they really struggle to get integrated in the society. So also for this reason, in this school they teach English as a common language for all the students. In the images you can see the environment. You saw the environment where these kids live. So they're very, very poor environment, very remote areas. And the big problem is that most of these kids, in order to go to school, sometimes needs to walk for hours. Some students needs to go for more than 250 kilometers, that I think in miles will be around 150. And of course, as you can imagine, this makes it very, very difficult to go to school because sometimes the roads are in very bad conditions, also getting on a bus, or they need to change multiple buses in order to go to school. So for this reason, not only we have a high school, and in general, like a school that hosts more than 1,500, around 1,500 students, but they also built recently a hostel. So this school became a boarding school, and 80 students every year actually live in the school. And this is the case of this student that you just saw. And this allows them not only to attend school regularly and not having the problem of, finding a way to go to school, but they also guarantee for them the opportunity of learning in a safe environment, having the time, especially for that. You can imagine if you are from a very poor family, in most of the cases you will not have electricity at all. This means that at the end of the school, if you need to go back to school, it takes you a lot of hours, and when you get there, it's already dark. So you cannot have do your homework. You don't have the opportunity of studying, and so this, of course, makes very, very, very difficult for these students to really, accomplish their studies. So this is another way we are supporting students. So sometimes it's not only the school, but also providing a living environment. Moving forward. Next project. Displaced people. Again, condition of vulnerabilities. Last time, my colleague Laura presented to you a Fratelli project, but a Fratelli project that was placed in Lebanon. So starting from the good experience we had in Lebanon, recently the Lasallian brothers, together with the Maris brothers, decided to open and start a new Fratelli project, but this time in Maicao, in Colombia. In this area of Colombia, there is one of the largest refugee camp of the world, and the largest actually of all Latin America. This refugee camp is called La Pista, and was settled in a former airport area. Right now, it has been estimated that 13,000 people lives there. And also for this project, I have a very short video to share. This time is subtitled in English.
¿Y cuándo terminaste escuela?
Ahora me voy a meter a
como tenía aceleración de la técnica,
¿Sí?
los profesores pusieron escoger pero quedan en el colegio y haber integrado me pone.
¿Y después? ¿Qué quieres hacer después?
Sí, doctora
¿Doctora de?
de pediatría.
¿De pediatría? Ah, qué lindo.
Porque me encantan los niños.
Hay que ir a la universidad. ¿Cuál universidad te gusta?
I don't know if any of you speaks Spanish, but I think it's very beautiful what the audio on the background. The interviewer was asking this kid what was her dream, and she said, I would like to become a doctor, a pediatric doctor. So I think that the beauty of projects like this is really to try to give back hope and dreams to people that was forced to to leave their home and their safe place. So as I was saying, Fratelli Project was created. Macau is placed at the border of Colombia, and this refugee camp really received during the years in the past, like probably 10 years or something like that. For the majority Venezuelan people, refugees that left their country due, of course, to the, I don't know if you know that Venezuela right now is facing one of the biggest socioeconomical and political crises of their history. And if I'm not wrong, around almost 80 million people left Venezuela since the crisis started. So of course, people, when they leave their countries, tend to go to the borders, to the bordering countries. And so for this reason, Colombia received a lot of them. So the goal for Fratelli Project, again, similarly to the Lebanon Fratelli Project, is to provide an opportunity to go back into the educational environment and to sometimes also take back or start studies for kids and young people often, in order to being able to start back their life. I put together some photos here because I think that what really makes the Lasallian mission, one of the part of, the faces of the people. These are students, and like but in another part of the world. And I think that one of the most important things that sometimes we do in our projects is to try to give back, and this is why I choose this photo, give back the opportunity to just be kids to our students, to our Lasallian classmates from the other side of the world. Because sometimes, when you need to leave your country, you don't have the opportunity to play anymore, or you maybe sometimes forget how to do it. So I think this photo is very beautiful for this reason. Moving to another area, last time you talked about formation of teachers, and I choose to talk about this project because it's one of the newest one we are taking care of, and it's also, I think, very interesting for the methodology and the way it has been thought. I'm going to tell you. So we are in Zona Reina in Guatemala, a very rural area of the west part of Guatemala. And with this is a special project that just started that will allow 250 women and girls from indigenous communities to become expert in sustainable agriculture. But this will not happen forming 250 people, but has been selected 36 women that are attending very specialistic formation courses, and then they are in charge, divided in 6 groups, to form other women of their communities. And in this way, we are passing on the knowledge. And so that's why it's, for me, formation of teachers, because we are forming, it's formation of formators. And the final result will be to have 250 women in Guatemala being able not only to grow plant in a more sustainable way, but also to understand more about environment, changing their community dynamics, and starting having also decisional power in their communities, because from knowledge they will be able also to to get this role of leadership in their communities that for women very often is very difficult to obtain. And on top of this, we are also delivering with them courses against to fight violence on women specifically. Also for this reason, I put together again some photos from like a recent program, a recent session of the program. And I think it's very interesting the fact that they are involving in the projects and in the process also younger women, because the idea is that, we start working on breaking the bad habits and the bad culture and the bad dynamics of the community from when they are young. They need to understand their value and the fact that they can fight for themselves. And so I think this is, they've been doing workshops specifically against violence. So as you can see on this paper, it's written "No to violence, no a la violencia." And in this way, they're hoping to change really the community and the social environment of this rural area of Guatemala. Next project, you have been talking about gender equality. Last time, my colleague Laura talked to you about the beautiful, I think, project based in Tumba in Democratic Republic of Congo. This time we move back to Asia and we go to India, especially in Kesara. That is a village that is in the southern part of India. It's a very rural area where like most of the people living in this rural area are again, they work in the agricultural field. And for this reason, sometimes it's very difficult for the families that they're living in very poor conditions. So the parents often need to leave from the area and go abroad. And in this kind of situation, when, at home are left the older member of the family and the kids, usually the girls are the ones that suffer more about the situation, because of course they tend to be the one that will stay at home taking care of their siblings or all the older relatives. And for this reason, the La Salle School in Kesara is putting together a special project looking especially to guarantee access to education for girls, because not only for them is sometimes difficult to go to school, but the problem is also the distance. So this school actually serves the students. All the students come from 25 villages that are like located at a maximum of 13 kilometers away from the school. And sometimes for the girls especially, it's very, very difficult to be able to go from home to school and back in safety, because there is also to be taken in consideration the violence on the streets. Unfortunately, the bus of the school recently just got broken and cannot be fixed. So for this reason, what they need the most at the moment is a new bus. And so that's why I put the photos of the bus, because they're actually like the bus right now, and one of them is not working. So what our project right now is to buy a new bus in order to allow more than 150 students every day to go to school quickly and in safety. And so these are the kids that will actually benefit from this project. So sometimes for us guarantee access to school is not only building a school or pay for the scholarship, but also guarantee a way for them to go to school. Access to education for girls, of course, as we were saying, also means scholarship. Last time, my colleague Laura talked to you about one of our newest universities in Ethiopia. And I just wanted to bring to you other faces in the Lasallian mission, other students like you. And this is the case of Estela and Kidane, these two students that you see in the photos. They are students in the Ethiopian Catholic University, and they're both studying medicines. I recently had the opportunity to work on some reports about their scholarships, and they were sharing about how much for them, it's like how much they're enjoying the opportunity of studying, and how much they're also journey in studying medicine. Both of them are medicine students. Is really their dream is to be able to serve others and support others in the future. I think this is beautiful and really shares about the impact that the Lasallian mission and Lasallian education has in the world sometimes. Going to our next category, like next group of projects. Last time you were informed about a project in Paraguay. This time we go back to we go to Africa again, and we're going to share about this. I'm going to share about this a very special project to me, actually. That is Clima. That is a center in Burkina Faso, and I have again a little video for this one, and I'm going to talk about more later.
Nous sommes les stagiaires du climat.
Bienvenue au climat, qui signifie Centre Lasallian d'initiation au métier de l'agriculture. Au climat, nous recevons les familles, des jeunes et des femmes qui viennent apprendre des techniques modernes et écologiques de production agricole et d'élevage. Après la formation, ces jeunes repartent chez eux dans leur village où ils font aussi de la production agricole.
Ici au climat, j'apprends à cultiver la terre et à élever les animaux de manière responsable et dans le respect de la nature. J'ai hâte de créer ma propre activité.
Ici derrière nous, c'est l'endroit où nous voulons recréer une forêt sauvage.
Ce sera une véritable oasis verte où les plantes pousseront librement et deviendront un foyer pour les animaux en voie de disparition.
Les arbres que nous voulons planter sont essentiels pour notre planète et pour nous qui l'habitons. Ils luttent contre le changement climatique, retiennent l'eau et rendent fertile la terre, ce que nous apprenons à cultiver.
En effet, 1,5 milliard de personnes dans le monde dépendent des forêts qui sont l'habitat naturel de la plupart des animaux. En plantant un arbre au climat ici, vous aidez l'environnement, les animaux et les communautés agricoles comme la nôtre.
So I chose to talk about this project because, and I said it's very dear to me because at school I went to volunteer, and I went to volunteer in this center, and it was 2013, so a long time ago. But I think it's a very interesting project because it's a special school, and it's a school for adults again. You know, right before I shared with you about the project in Guatemala that is for adult people. So sometimes, you know, our education, Lasallian education, is dedicated not only schools, it's also schools for adults sometimes. In this center that is located in a small city called Beregadugo, it's around 8 hours driving from the capital of Burkina Faso in a very rural environment. This school is actually an agricultural center, as you know, it was shared in the video, that receive every year a number of, sometimes also families, not only adults, single adults, but also family with kids that lives there usually for 1 or 2 years, learn, and then they go back to their village in order to start their own business and to spread what they have been learning. Recently, since Burkina Faso is one of the countries that is more affected by desertification right now in Africa, we started this special project with the, in this center and with the families. And so as it was shared in the video, we are planting this forest in order to fight desertification. This community is very interesting in the way they live in this school, because sometimes these people come from different parts of the country. And so I think this is also a big part of our Lasallian mission and our Lasallian values. Families that come from different tribes, different religions, different culture needs to live together. So for example, something that happened in this community that I think is very beautiful, they have this space where they meet every morning to discuss about their common life and common environment. So this is another way I think Lasallian mission is impacting the world in some ways, because we are sharing also knowledge, we are learning how to live with each other and promoting a global society that can live together in peace. So this was a bit my journey for today. Some new projects that I hope will help you reflect on the Lasallian mission. And again, I'm sure my colleague shared again the other time, but if you have any question, you want to discover more about some of the projects that the foundation and we are carrying on in the world, you can always follow us on the social media and Google or website, or just drop an email and we will be more than happy to reply to you.